What's up, world? Uko here from Better Therapy Now, where you sharpen your discipline, develop an unwavering resilience, and unlock an abundance mindset. Why you're struggling for nothing, fix this now. So, I talk very often about developing an authentic purpose, and that requires internal work. You have to look within yourself and discover what are you genetically wired to do? Like, what do you not procrastinate towards doing? What do you just move forward towards? What are you drawn to? And this usually deals with something that's happened in your past. Like, for example, if you grew up in a situation where there was very little hope, maybe there was very little money, maybe there wasn't like mentors to encourage you, your authentic purpose might be to build hope in others. And that might lead you to do something like social services, social work, individual therapy. And that could be really, really big. You could do something like I'm doing, online videos to try to build hope in people and establish a disciplined mindset. You can start individual therapy, a group practice business. But that's going to be a struggle. Developing a business is a struggle, but you're choosing that struggle wisely because it's in line with your authentic purpose. Number two, your struggle should reflect your core values. There's several different core values, and usually your authentic purpose is born from those core values. A core value might be family. In that case, having a family would be a wise struggle. It's not easy to raise children. It's not easy to be in a marriage and a long-term relationship. It is a struggle, but you're choosing it wisely because it's in line with your core values. The third way to choose your struggle wisely or to kind of fix the struggle that you're in is to leverage your strengths. And this is where we talk about what you're genetically wired to do or what you're just wired to do. I just did a training with a software called Culture Index, and it's like a human analytics program. And what it does is it helps employers identify what people are wired to do by doing what looks like a personality test. And it kind of tells you, what the best work situation is for you, whether you like working alone and independently, whether you need guidance, whether you like giving orders. But what it does that I think is very, very valuable is that it helps you identify your strengths so that you can leverage those strengths in your professional life. For me, I took the Culture Index and I found out that I didn't really like my profile. The way that I was wired and the way that I am wired, I didn't like. It said that I needed a lot of direction, that I had a hard time making decisions for myself, and that the leading indicator in my personality was people, which I didn't really like. Dislike that my leading indicator was people, but it made me look back to my past and see, where did this come from and where could it potentially go? When I was very young, I grew up in a part of town that was lower class. It was I-17 in Thomas, and the kids there had very little oversight. And because of that, the kids on the playground would often get into fights, which meant that we were all fighting all the time. Sometimes it would get very bloody. It was a much more violent atmosphere. And then I moved up north in the northern area of Phoenix. And in that area, the teachers, there were more teachers, they got paid better, they cared more about their work, and they had much more oversight. So when I came there and I would just get into fights if a kid just looked at me wrong, the teachers would intervene right away and kind of tell me that's a wrong thing. They would separate me, they'd put me in detention. And I developed it in my head that over the years that responding in anger, responding violently is a bad thing. And what did that lead to? By the time I hit junior high, high school, I started to depict not only violence and anger and temper tantrums as bad, but also kind of sticking up for myself as bad and setting boundaries as bad. And then by the time I got into my senior year of high school, transitioning into college, it got even worse. It got to a point where I couldn't set boundaries, but I also wanted to please other people just to reassure myself that what I was doing was right, because being angry, making people feel uncomfortable, being more polarizing, all that got categorized in the same bucket of being violent. And all the kind of pleasing people, kind of being a yes man, got categorized in the good bucket. So you kind of see how I started out as sort of like a bully and then transitioned into this person that couldn't even set up boundaries and never wanted to be polarizing. And that's why now I think my personality indicator was more of a people person, and the weakness of that being more of a people pleaser. But what they told me, what the people that did the software told me, was that you have a really good talent and a strength of making people feel comfortable, and you can leverage that, which makes perfect sense because of my line of social work, doing individual therapy, doing mental fitness coaching, and trying to leverage online courses to help like connect with people and help them develop stronger mindsets. So I take kind of a weakness or a past story, see how it develops, and what a sort of like core value of mine is, which is discipline, and then trying to connect and attempt to leverage that in my own struggle, which the own struggle would be one, doing videos every day, writing books, working on the business, trying to grow it, and trying to connect with people and teach them these different concepts. So that's kind of how I look at the weaknesses, the strengths, try to leverage the strengths, even though initially I thought they were a weakness, and then leverage those strengths into something that is scalable, that's profitable, and that can reach a lot of people.